let's talk about how Peter Parker's death motivated Eddie Brock to become Spider-Man. Now, most of us know that when push came to shove, Peter was able to use a church bell tower to forcibly remove his symbiote, saying he would rather die than become a puppet. He would rather his own brains turn to mush than being controlled by someone else. And while the symbiote did leave him to save its own life, but symbiosis is a two-way street, and this symbiote had learned how to feel things, real emotions like greed, excitability, responsibility, and love. But in this universe, when the symbiote had returned to save Peter's life, it found out he was too little, too late. And we see Eddie Brock reliving this night and thinking about how we're all sinners, Peter Parker too. But he wanted to do better, wanted to be better, and while he didn't always succeed, he always tried. And while that bell tower really did turn his brains into mush, the best part of him still survived. See, Peter Parker always had his Uncle Ben, his defining failure, the one thing that he would spend the rest of his life trying to make up for, and now the symbiote had Pete. The most important person in the symbiote's life, the most intimate and personal relationship that it could have ever had, was now gone due to an act of selfishness. The symbiote had given Peter so much power, but Peter had given it his great sense of guilt and responsibility. Eddie, on the other hand, he just wanted to die. But that is probably why the two of them bonded so easy. The symbiote was looking for forgiveness for an act that it had just committed. Eddie was looking for forgiveness for one that he was about to. Now, the symbiote influences him. It makes him want to be a hero, to save everyone. Even though we see Eddie swinging in to save the day and fight Doc Ock, he thinks to himself that his soul is still damned because all of the best parts of him aren't him at all. As the two continue fighting, Octavius figures that if one Spider-Man died, the other one can as well. And then, accidentally making a loud clanging noise, Otto learns how to get the upper hand. For the first time since being bonded with the symbiote, Eddie is completely alone in his head. His thoughts are finally his own, and all he can think is fuck this guy. Grabbing a brick from the nearby wall, Eddie realizes that this is his choice now, and he wants this. He wants to do better. He was ready to be reborn. Who cares if the best part of you comes from someone else, as long as you choose those things for yourself? As he hurls the brick at Otto's head, he says we're all born sinners, but Eddie is trying to transcend that. Eddie rushes over to his other half side, begging and pleading for it not to be dead. And while Otto begins to regain consciousness, he says that a cheap shot like that won't work twice. After all, you're not Spider-Man. But then a voice says no, Eddie isn't Spider-Man on his own. But he's not on his own anymore. It's us, the symbiote, and Eddie. We are Spider-Man.